This meeting is being recorded.
There we go. Did we get it on both your guys' screens?
Yeah.
Oh boy, we are off to a hot start tonight. I accidentally ended the Twitch stream thinking I was hitting record. But this is episode 70 of Late Arrivals. A lot has happened. This has been a week that has felt like a year. And we'll get into reasons why, but Jesus Christ, I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired.
Very. I had to remind myself a couple times today that it was Thursday. It just, I don't even know. What'd you say?
I was gonna say the second period alone felt like it took like 3 hours.
Jesus, I know. Like tonight's game, we're recording on Thursday night. Ducks Hurricanes just ended like an hour and a half ago. Wasn't fun. Do you have a number 70? Do we have a number 70?
Yeah, this is the Dennis Rasmussen episode. He is the only player in Ducks history to wear number 70. So wow. Dennis Rasmussen in 2018, shout out.
Nice.
Ducks legend. I don't even remember where we got him from. I think we got him from Chicago.
Yep, Chicago. He played 27 games with us as a center. 4 points. Very memorable.
That was before the ascension of Derek Grant, I believe.
I mean, Grant did like 3 tours of duty with us, so
oh my God, don't even remind me.
I know.
Well,
he's got to be up there with the most like tours with us. Different,
Didn't
Boschman was
have 3, or is it just 2?
Lupo might have had. No, I think he had 2. I know Boschman had like 3, didn't he?
Yeah,
he had 3. Chris Wagner, I think, had 2 or 3.
Yeah, even
he's had like 2 or 3 with like 2 different teams too. Because I'm pretty sure he's in Colorado's system and he's been there like 3 times at least.
Yeah,
Lupo had 2. I'm looking at hockey.
2. Okay.
Well, and Boschman did have 3. Sorry, you can go ahead.
Good. Well, we do have games to talk about, but I don't think that's the reason why everyone's here. So we'll breeze through those very quickly. Well, I should say very quickly because I mean some things have happened that are of note. I mean the Jets game, there's not really much I think we could have done. The Jets are just shockingly good this year. And thank God Kyle Connor wasn't in the lineup because I felt like that game could have been worse.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty decent game from the Ducks.
All things considered, yeah.
I mean, like it wasn't bad.
Here we are at the end of the week, considering where that game happened.
About to walk into traffic. I mean, they only took 2 penalties against the Jets. That's got to be the first time this season that they've taken less than 5.
Yeah,
less than 3.
Pretty sure.
They just couldn't score. They kind of got goalied, I guess, by Brossoit. He had a lot of nice saves in that one.
I feel like their offense is really clicking anyway.
I feel like he's like randomly just one of those goalies we always run into and lose.
Yep.
It's like him. I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, Ronta's kind of like that, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think tonight counts because he came in relief, but came in relief and then didn't give up any. So I wouldn't consider him tonight.
I kind of feel like Mike Smith was like that with us for a bit. I feel like every time we played Mike Smith,
he's the one that ruined the Calgary streak.
Yeah,
when he was on the Flames.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, McTavish gets a goal in that one. I think he probably was the one penalty. I don't know. Lou's on the injured reserve tonight. He also got hurt.
Yep.
He would definitely know because Lou has been very insistent on keeping 23 accountable since coaching staff apparently doesn't want to.
Yeah, Lou's taking his stance here. He's putting his foot down. Is it safe to say that Lou is against the youth movement in Anaheim? Should I throw that out there? I don't know. I don't know.
Why does Lou hate Mason McTavish? Mike Hollum
Mike Hollum.
up next on ITR.
Forward by Frank Saravalli.
Christ.
Lou has put Mason McTavish on his trade block.
Oh man, we're gonna get into that more, I'm sure, in a little while here.
Oh yes. Oh
yeah.
yes, we will.
Mhm.
They follow up the Jets game and lose to the Red Wings. It was all but nice to see Zegras pop back in and have his first multi-goal game of the season.
Mhm.
Dostal looked really good. I know everyone was up in arms about the game winner. That wasn't a kick. I'm sorry.
It was not. It was not.
I mean, the rule is stupid. The wording of the rule is dumb, but
Mhm.
we've seen goals like that count before.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, it has to be just with a minute left in the game. But I don't think we can really say it wasn't expected. Just this has been the season of bad luck. What
Mhm.
is our luck with anniversary seasons? Just being like promising for like a month and then just
Yeah.
being a disaster the rest of the way.
Well,
Because the
the
25th
25th,
season was like this, where they did
the,
good for a little bit and then just the wagon flew off a cliff instead of just
the,
going off the rails.
the
Didn't they
25th,
lose
like,
11 straight in January?
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
And like 8 of them were at home.
Yeah.
I want to say the 25th anniversary was probably the worst anniversary season in Ducks history because at least the 20th they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Got beat in the second round. We won't talk about it, but that happened. And then the 10th anniversary was the cup year. That they went to the cup, not winning the cup, but they went to the cup against the Devils.
Yeah.
Because it was the mighty decade at center. Yeah, you know. So yeah, it was really the 25th was the worst one. That was, and then of course it had to be like the worst anniversary season with the the pregnant logo. So we had to have a horrible
the pregnant D.
Yeah, we had to have a horrible season and then look at that anniversary patch while losing. But anyway, Ducks Red Wings. It was 3-2. Dostal, like you said, played really well. Zegras, both of his goals were beautiful. Fowler got an assist on the second one, I think, and it tied him with Steve Ruchin for 5th on the Ducks all-time points list at 432. So good on him.
Good for Cameron.
I can't believe how long he's been a Duck. It's so crazy.
I know. So
I like how Pete. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's a kind of useless story, but when I was 13, Cam Fowler was my favorite player, and I named my dog. It's a girl, so I named her Cammy after Cam Fowler.
Nice.
We're just like, I can't believe our dogs are 10 years old now. And I'm like, that means Cam Fowler's been in the league for a while.
Yeah. I was going to say, I like how Pete Blackburn tweeted out the other night that the Cam Fowler era has lasted longer than the Drysdale era.
You're spoiling it. We're not there yet. So following up 2 losses, the Ducks made us feel good for one night, but it was at the cost of just everything. Zegras goes down in the first period, and now we know that it was a broken ankle. Zegras goes down right at the beginning of the game, and of course, everybody is thrown into a panic, which was more so because of the events that preceded that game. But again, we will get to that in a sec. But then also losing Pavel Minchikov at the end of the game, literally like right at the finish line. I didn't watch this one, but as soon as I saw the 5-3 goal, I kind of was like, oh shit. And I think that came after Minchikov left the ice.
Yeah.
that was kind of the moment of like, okay, everyone's freaking out about Pavel being hurt. And then they scored, and I was like, oh, they're gonna blow this. But they didn't.
Yeah.
So, I think this is the first time in a good couple like handful of seasons where we've beat the Preds more than once, which
More than once. Mm-hmm.
small victories here. It's always fuck Nashville, at least in my eyes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wrote down in my notes back in the win column, but at what cost? We did get
Weird
Jackson
how-
Lacombe, got his first multi-point game of his career on his birthday.
23rd birthday. Happy birthday, Jackson.
I kind of feel bad because everything else that happened kind of overshadowed his birthday tweet, because it was just
it
kind of
sure
thrown
did.
in the middle of the day while everything was on fire.
Everything's burning, and then happy birthday, Jackson Lacombe.
But Saros looked kind of shaky in that game. The fact that we had 2 out of the penalty box goals was
That was
kind of
cool.
funny.
was cool.
It's funnier that it happens against the Preds, but
The
I
Gudis
think
one
that's
was
my
better.
favorite type of goal.
Yeah.
When they jump out of the penalty box and immediately on a breakaway. Like those are like probably
Yeah.
one of my favorite type of goals. Those are so fun
think-
to watch.
I think I liked the Gudis one more than Strome's just because it was so messed up.
I know, yeah.
Like had
Such
to
a broken play.
yeah, like the guy caught up to him, so he kind of had to go to the side a bit, shot it, got his own rebound, little wraparound goal. It was very odd, but it was nice. I was gonna say last week we did our predictions for the Preds game. We all had the Ducks winning, so at least we did that.
we got that
Jake
right at
had-
least.
Yeah, Jake, you had it at 4-2. I had it 4-1. Lou had it 3-2. So we were close,
In
I
the
got
ballpark.
yeah, I mean it was close. You're the one that got the goal differential right, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were close. But yeah, Zegras is out for what, 6 to 8?
And same with Minchikov. They
6 to 8
said
weeks.
what was Minchikov's? It was a
Separated shoulder.
approximately
separated
six.
shoulder. I almost said torn shoulder. That wouldn't have made sense.
And yeah,
Everything is fun. Not led into tonight where things were not fun again.
yeah.
Because we got the injury news about what, an hour before puck drop, if that.
It's that.
Yeah. If
Um,
that.
So everybody was already kind of in a tizzy about that, because
Mhm.
to get that before they're about to play, I feel kind of sucks the life out of you of like, yeah, I really don't care if this happens because this is horrible. Everything is terrible. But they lose tonight to the Hurricanes 6-3, which is kind of funny because that was the score of the home opener. So both games have
Yeah.
ended in the same score. It's just a different team this time around. You guys can probably bring a little more insight to this than me because I was busy at work, but it seems like there was no defense and no saves, which has been par for the course for about the last couple of weeks. But
Definitely no defense. Gibson was left kind of out to dry on a decent chunk of those goals. I mean, then we lost him in the third period. Gibson went down. Upper body or lower?
is that
It's an
up?
upper body. It didn't look
Upper?
too
Okay.
serious though.
No,
Hopefully he's just day to day.
because Orlov shoved someone into him, right?
Lundstrom, yeah. Orlov
Lundstrom.
sent Lundstrom into is it Konchenkov?
Yeah.
Coach,
And then
Orlov is
Lundstrom himself hit his head on the post on the way down.
Yeah. So I don't
both of
know.
them got hurt.
I'm not sure what Orlov was up to tonight. Like, I don't know what was going through his head, but he was on a mission to push, like, to throw people into goalies tonight. I don't know what his problem is. But that kind of sucked. So Dimitri, I don't know, figure it out, maybe grow up a little bit. Just saying. Strom had a really nice goal. If you missed it, he really showed his hand-eye coordination tonight. That was beautiful. Just knocked it out of midair. It was pretty cool. The other thing that was really like of note in this game is that Vetrano scored again. and it's his 20th goal in the season, and that is now his third 20-goal season of his career. And I think he became the first. Yeah, I think became not the first. He joined Ryan Kessler, and Peter Sikora, I think, for players to post like consecutive seasons of 20 goals or more with the Ducks. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it from that game. Like it sucked at first, and then the Ducks somehow tied it at 3, and I'm like, okay. And then it all went to hell after that again.
They just had
yeah.
They just had a horrible first period.
Yeah.
I think the final shot totals after the first period is like 16-1. They
Disgusting.
They couldn't get out of their zone. Like they would get to like the blue line, try and chip it out or something, and they just couldn't. They couldn't manufacture any offense at all. It was just they're playing sloppy too. Couldn't get tape-to-tape passes. It was just rough to watch.
Yeah, after that first period, I almost like decided to not watch the rest of the game. Just the way it went, I'm like 16-1 in shots. You know, like you're down 2-0. Like, what's the point of this game? Like, it's gonna suck. And they kind of sucked me back in when they came back to tie it at 3, just to curb stomp my heart once again.
We're still getting outshot by 20.
Yeah.
So talk about injuries. To interject here, not from the Ducks, but Eichel had to be helped off the Vegas game. They said they thought it was a skate issue originally, but there's our boy Hockey Daily 365 posted like the alternate angle, showing him being helped into the locker room. He's kind of limping.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It's just something going on right now. Just a ton of people getting hurt.
Seriously, and they're all like really good players. It's not like these bottom 6 guys or like people getting called up from like the AHL or something. It's like top guys on teams,
especially on the Ducks.
Yeah.
Like I was watching the game with my dad, and I was like Sam Carrick isn't getting hurt. Like it's always Leo Carlson, Trevor Zegras, Pavel Mintyukov.
So he lost the skate blade, but he got like hip checked in the knee.
Ooh.
Oh. That just that looks awkward.
Sounds awkward. Hip check in the knee.
Well, we can't skirt around it any longer. We gotta talk about what everybody is here for. Pat Verbeek, known agent of chaos, made just an out of left field trade that I think we're gonna be hearing about. I feel like this is gonna be the Pat Verbeek trade until something crazier happens.
Yeah.
But shit, what day was it now? Tuesday when it happened?
Monday.
Was it Monday? I thought it was Tuesday. Oh yeah, because it happened before the Nashville game. And the Nashville game was Tuesday.
Yes, it happened while they're on the flight to Nashville.
Oh, right. Flight to Nashville.
So I was standing there at work. It was slow and nothing was happening. And I looked at my phone and I saw the tweet that we had traded Jamie Drysdale and a 2025 second round pick for Cutter Gauthier from the Philadelphia Flyers. And in denial, my brain is like, that's got to be fake.
Yeah.
But then you start processing, and the Ducks are the only account I have notifications for on Twitter. And then it set in, and I kind of just stood there a while. It was not fun.
No. Yeah, that was a blindside smack right there. Like, I not even kidding. I tweeted about it saying I had to read it. Like, I wasn't being dramatic. I probably read it 5 times, and I had to look at like the check mark on Twitter. I had to look at who else was retweeting it, and I even had to click on the profile to make sure it was. I was so confused.
Oh, and you were right, Chris. It was Monday.
Monday, yeah. Okay.
For me, I was driving home. I was on the freeway sitting in traffic on the 57, and my phone starts blowing up. And I look quickly, I just see a Pierre LeBrun tweet saying like, wow, like Cutter Gauthier traded, whatever. I was like, oh damn. I didn't even look, I didn't read the full tweet. I just saw Cutter Gauthier tweeted. I was like, dang, that's wild. And then our lap group chat started going off, and I just saw Chanel like, I missed Jamie already. And I was like, I didn't put two and two together. So I was like, why did
wow.
already? Did he get hurt again? And then I get home, I finally read the whole thing. I was like, holy shit.
Well,
You were able to drive home and still be happy and live your life while all of us were.
I was actually like, my initial reaction was actually like happy.
You're just bopping around.
Well, I know I'm sure we're gonna get into it right now, but like Cutter Gauthier is what the Ducks are missing. Like they have all these playmakers with McTavish, Terry, Zegras, Carlson, but they don't really stuttering. They really don't have like someone to finish those plays, and that's exactly what this guy's gonna be.
Yeah,
and we all knew somebody from the young defensive core was gonna go. So I
didn't think it was gonna happen this week, but
I did not.
just a random mid-January trade.
Yeah. Jesus.
I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head, Jack. Like, it's something that the Ducks have been missing, and I mean, you read Pat Verbeek's quotes about Cutter, and that, I mean, the fact that he was actively trying to trade up to get him in the year he was drafted, and just nothing materialized, kind of says all you need to know about this deal. Is Pat was going to get him one way or another, if he became available, and that's a whole nother thing we'll touch on in a sec here. But some things that I found interesting, and I mean, I know it was very, trade announcements tend to be very just kind of to the point and blunt. But and I know a little is lost in all of that, because those tweets are meant to be informative of the player that's being brought in. They want fans to kind of get the quick, cliff notes of, hey, this is who we traded for, this is what they've done so far, what they're, where they're at, so on and so on. But the very just small paragraph of, I want to thank Jamie Drysdale for his hard work and dedication to the organization. He's got a great future ahead of him. It wasn't an easy decision, but in Cutter, we're getting a terrific player and a very versatile player. We're excited to get him. And expanded before that, the full, like, the bigger quote was just, he's an up and coming young defenseman, but when I've been watching our team the last month or so, we've had difficulty scoring goals. This opportunity presented itself, and we really started diving into it. As time went on, we pushed to make the deal happen. I wouldn't say that is a concerning quote, but I kind of feel like we're getting to that point, and with the deadline coming in 2 months, or about a month and a half now,
March 8th.
I feel like a lot more of this is going to happen. And I have always appreciated that Pat is very blunt in how he says these things, because he certainly has shown that he's a no bullshit guy. We could see with this trade that I want what I want, and I'm going to get what I want. But fuck, it almost to me seems like if you are a guy on this roster right now, you are playing for your job.
Yeah.
Just because he obviously wants this team to be better than where we're at, and certainly the prospect of having Gauthier at the end of the season, after his college season's done, will make us better for that last month. I think just by having him in the lineup, which is hard to say for a kid that has never played in an NHL game.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting, and it's hard. Everyone's already trying to paint the winners of the trade. But it's rough, because like You don't expect somebody that you thought was going to be one of the core guys going forward would be the first to go.
Yeah.
And certainly seems like it may not be the last.
Definitely not. I do want to say for people, I've seen a lot of people jumping on like different players to be like, okay, this is my new favorite player, or whatever. I've seen one name pop up, and I don't want to put like salt in the wound here, but I wouldn't be so quick to say, okay, I'm going all in as my favorite Duck, being Frank Vetrano, because I think he's. You might want to prepare yourself. I mean, obviously, us as a podcast, we're just fans. We have no inside information at all. We will never claim to have that. We don't have it. But Frank Vetrano is going to be someone that everyone is going to be calling for by the deadline to help a playoff push. And another name I want to throw out there to be ready for, just in case, is Adam Henrique, because I thought he was going to be gone last deadline. I was very shocked that he was still a Duck after last year's deadline. This year,
I mean, let's be real, we're also kind of shocked he's still a Duck after the whole Bob Murray debacle.
True.
Which is a testament to how shitty things were under Bob. Let's not downplay that. Like, obviously things can change and you can have a change of heart, but if I was, Adam has very high patience, it seems. Like you said, it's at this point, it's kind of just like, you're still here. Holy shit. Like,
yeah. So I would just, if you're listening, get ready for those two names possibly not being Ducks by or after March 8th. That is a Friday, by the way. So wonderful way to kick off the weekend.
And just quickly to add on to Frank Vetrano, like, if you're the Ducks, this is the highest his value is going to be.
100%.
I mean,
and it sucks because I love Frank. He's an awesome player. He's got a really great shot, but at the same time, and this is like no disrespect to Frank, but I don't think he's ever really. I mean, he's having a career year.
Yeah,
and it's with the Ducks. You just don't at his. He's not super young.
Is he 30?
I think.
I have
29 or 30, yeah.
I don't want to throw like Bolesky out there because he has a better all around. He has a better game than Bolesky, but like there's some players that just work out with a certain team, and I think Frank might have that here with the Ducks. And if he wants at some point more money, I mean, we don't have to worry about that. But I mean, like, I just feel like there's going to be a team that wants him for the playoffs. They're going to overpay, and then they're going to regret it later. And the Ducks win that little trade because there's going to be desperate teams that want scoring going into the playoffs, and Frank fits that bill. And the Ducks would be kind of dumb not to jump on these desperate teams.
Just don't be Boston, please, because they have nothing.
Yeah, Frank, he had a career year last year in terms of points, 41 points last year, highest career total. This year he's on pace for 59. So he's going to turn 30 in March. And these don't mean anything, but I love these. Reading on Hockey Reference, his nicknames are Mizzy, Grapes, Rolex, Frank the Tank, Frankie V, and the Springfield Rifle. So very valuable information for those teams looking at him. If you want the Springfield Rifle on your team, give old Pat a call.
We don't have Lou for Matt Ball facts, but we have the nickname corner now, Jack.
There we go. Shout out to Hockey Reference too for having that info. Love Hockey Reference.
That's awesome.
Grapes. Where the hell does that come from?
I know.
To add to that, there's also some other names that are out there that I honestly, with how Monday shook out, it very well could be true. We don't want to manifest that, so we won't say it, but
yeah,
I feel like this year more so than years past, dealing Raquel, dealing Lindholm, dealing Manson, the list goes on. Those were all hard because those were guys that we've all grown attached to. And I do also, I'll kind of package this up because it leads into kind of some of the drama on Ducks Twitter that day. But it like we grow attached to these players and it sucks. But I feel like this year might be one of those that's just gonna really suck. We try and keep things very lighthearted and positive here as best we can, but it's kind of that point of the rebuild where it's like we're getting to that window where obviously Pat sees a vision and it hasn't quite wrinkled out the way he's wanted to yet, and there's still just a little he can squeeze dry, and it might hurt a little bit to wring that out.
Mm-hmm.
But I do, like I said, I want to kind of wrap this up. You can be upset about players leaving, but let's just not argue about it. Everyone has emotions. We're all humans.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
other people are going to deal with this how they want to deal with it. It sucks losing a player like Jamie because obviously his career hasn't been what we expected. And it's no fault to him. It's just shitty luck, coming up during COVID, the injuries he's dealt with. Like you can say he didn't get a fair shake. It's what, people are going to believe what they want to believe, but hey, at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all going to have emotions about this. It's kind of the shitty thing about sports is we're not the ones playing it, but when you get invested into it sometimes is a bitch. I told you earlier before we hopped on, I wanted to pull up the Ducks history account because it's kind of a week that I didn't really realize. This week marks the anniversary of when I started watching hockey.
Oh,
because my very first game was after Solani's number was retired.
Nice.
It was like at the end of January I went. So I kind of reflecting back, remembering when I started watching in 2015 and how I absolutely had no clue about, about hockey and how how hockey fans work. All these years later looking at it, it's like, damn, I got sucked in.
Welcome to the show.
For better or for worse, at the end of the day, it sucks, but trades like that do suck.
Yep.
But we won't be all emo here, and we'll start talking about the fun stuff that happened.
Well, really quick, let me
go ahead.
Let me just rip this Band-Aid off really quick. I did post on the podcast account. I wanted instant reaction to the drive.
I forgot you did that.
Great.
I wonder how your phone was doing.
Yeah, I got more reactions than I anticipated. I was hoping to maybe get like a handful, and it turned into like almost 100 people. So I'm just gonna read through a few. I will say Nat, shout out to our friend Nat. She posted that she just ordered a beverage to enjoy this evening, and it was Clorox. Splashless, by the way, splashless. So that's good. I feel bad for Faith. Just got Drysdale's jersey. That's what really sucks. Yes, it is a business. Yes, players get traded all the time. But when people buy these jerseys, they're not cheap. It does suck that, when you get a player's jersey that you really like and they end up leaving, especially if you buy it and then they're gone even before you get it in the mail or something. That always
we did have one of those come into the store. I felt so bad.
Oh, really?
The guy called on Monday and he goes, "Hey, I sent my jersey off last week, but the guy I got on the back just got traded. How does that work?"
Oh.
I quickly was like, I walked away from that conversation. I was just like, I'm sorry.
A friend, writer at ITR, our TikToker, Chanel, she just posted no context, just a picture of Jack Hughes. Looks like he's crying. I don't know if he hit the smelling salts or something, or I don't know what happened in this, like before this picture, but yeah, he's crying. We got some screaming gifs. It was there's a lot of different emotions for sure. It definitely wasn't heavy on the emo side. It was kind of split between people being like end of days and people being excited for Gautier. But there was kind of no in between. But yeah, I appreciate everybody putting in their 2 cents there. It was kind of cool just to see everyone's reactions and get different opinions on it. I will also say that I'm excited for Gautier. Like, I was watching the World Juniors, and he's a very good player. I was not expecting him to be a Duck. You know, I knew he was a Flyer, but he's very good. It does suck that Drysdale went to the Flyers. I mean, it just sucks. Like, I hate that he's on the Flyers. I don't like that team at all. Like, the fans are just, no offense to our buddy J Money. Shout out to J Money. Love you, dude. You're going through it this week as well with this
us.
trade. Yeah, you're kind of, hope you're all right. But I just hate your team, man. You're cool. I like you. Love you, man.
Let's be real. It's the statue.
I was just gonna say, do you
God
hate the team or do
damn.
you hate the statue?
Oh yeah, J Money, you're sad. Why don't you go cry at the Rocky statue? Son of a bitch.
Jesus. Well, let's get into talking about Mr. Gautier. For those of you uninformed, which very well is a possibility considering that everything in regards to Cutter has been negative for a multitude of reasons. Like I had said, it was clear that Pat Verbeek really, really wanted him. Because we kind of heard that he, like, kind of offhandedly after that draft that he was looking to move up. I don't remember if anything ever came out that it was specifically to get Gautier. Very well could have, but hockey Twitter is a very just, I don't know, time passes by differently when stuff is going on. I hardly remember when these little snippets and stuff come out because there's not a lot of trust, I would say, between certain individuals in the insider space, but we will leave it at that.
Guys. Yeah.
So in Cutter Gauthier, we are getting a kid that can shoot the puck that has been sorely needed for a while. Yeah, Pat talked a lot about how his shot is kind of what is advertised most about him. But if you do watch any highlight packs of his play, he's got some hands for a big boy. He is 19, 6'2", and 194 already.
Yeah.
So he fits in already with just the absolute monsters that Pat Verbeek likes to draft. Which, you know, makes this definitely a move that I think everybody feels is on brand for Pat Verbeek. You know, we joked a lot about with DeBrincat being on the market over the summer that he wouldn't be touched by a 10-foot pole when it came to the Ducks because he is a small little guy.
He tiny.
But shit, like, just thinking that we can have a guy that can complement pretty much anywhere you put him within that top six. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be playing first line minutes right out the gate, because if Leo Carlson is getting the baby glove treatment, I think it's safe to assume we might see a little bit of that when he first comes over.
Hopefully not as much, just because he's played on North American ice.
Yeah.
his whole life.
If you haven't already, please go watch his highlights because he just has a cannon of a shot.
Yeah.
He's good and tight. His passing is, I don't see people talking about that a lot, but the World Junior highlights and stuff, like he's doing one touches to guys that aren't even facing the right direction and they're somehow still scoring. We're getting a real player out of this. I think that's kind of lost in all of this is we're losing a known quantity for an unknown. And granted, we won't know that until he comes to the team in March or, maybe even April.
Yeah.
Hopefully sooner than that, but we are waiting until BC's season is done so he can sign his entry level, and there is intent to sign his entry level. So everybody can take a deep breath. We wouldn't be making this trade if it wasn't to have him play on the Ducks. By all accounts, he sounds very excited to play. But man, just the thought. I was talking to my coworkers about this. The thought of a Gauthier, McTavish, like Killorn, like second, like shutdown line.
Yeah.
Just it gets me hot and bothered. I feel like that is going to be a penalty heavy line, but it's something I think we've missed. Just a big winger that can finish.
And Verbeek has said how fast he is too. He was surprised with his speed. So to be that big and to have speed as well is
I think Verbeek said he had elite speed, and then just so the other scouting reports I've read, they haven't said elite, but they say above average, which is already better than what the Ducks have.
Yeah, the exact quote is
lowest skating teams out there.
Mm-hmm.
The exact quote is he has obvious top 6 talent. He's versatile. He can really shoot the puck, and he's got underrated playmaking skills. His skating ability is elite, in my opinion. Big little part there. This is from the Beak itself.
The Beak.
He says, I've been looking for more speed up front with our group, and he certainly fills that ticket.
Definitely go listen to his interview on Duckstream with Alexis Downey, because that was really good too. Because on his hockey DB, it says that he's left wing, but like you said, Jake, he is comfortable playing both, and he's willing to play both. And in that interview, he said that he'll just play wherever the coach thinks he fits. So,
which hopefully is wing, because I feel like we have enough center depth going forward.
Yeah,
a lot of that will be different post deadline because. Mm-hmm. To your point about Henrique probably being gone, Pagnotta kind of said that he's probably the next one to fall just because they want a little family security if he does get traded. But going forward, it's not bad to have because it means he can fill in if there are injuries, if, say a Carlson or McTavish are in kind of a slump, or, Zegras gets moved back to center, like, he can kind of fill in where he's needed. But man, I hope he's on wing just because.
Me too.
He is deadly out there, and he's going to be a game changer. It sucks that this has all kind of been lost in the week, which I guess we can start getting into now. But before we do that, real fast, I will catch myself here. Last year as a freshman at BC, he had 37 points, 16 goals, 21 assists. And so far this year, he's at 23, 13 and 10.
In
then at
games.
World Juniors, he had 12. So, in 7 games, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah. World Juniors, 12 points, 7 games, like you said. And last year's World Juniors, 10 points in 7 games. So 22 points in 14 games total in that tournament, which is awesome. He's going to his college team has a real good chance at making a nice run. Boston College, I believe, right now is ranked number 1 in the nation. So That's why he said he wants to finish it out there because they have a chance at the Bean Pot and the national championship. So hopefully he gets both. That'd be kind of cool for him to get both of those on his way to Anaheim. But I thought a cool thing about Coach Jay that I see on here is that he was born in Sweden.
Yeah.
Yep, Swedish
That's-
born, but represents Team USA.
Yeah, his dad
that's cool.
represented Team Canada.
Interesting. Interesting.
And one other thing is he also played with Nestorenko last season.
I think they were line mates.
Oh.
Too.
They were.
Yeah.
There was a
Look
clip
at
in the
that.
highlight package I watched where I was like, "Oh, it's Nestorenko."
I know him.
I know that guy. Wow, time. Do you guys actually, before we get into all of this, because it is a lot, do you want to do what's on tap real fast, Chris? Because we kind
Let's-
of like just abandoned the games just to start talking about all of this.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so what's on tap? Brought to you by Noble Ale Works. If you mention late arrivals when you get a beer or close your tab, you get 10% off on game days, home or away. If the Ducks are home, you can also get free game parking at Noble. This week we got Saturday. They're in Tampa. Ducks are in Tampa.
Which we may get Leo Carlson back for.
Leo might, yeah. According to who was that?
Henrik Sjöberg of Hockey News Sweden.
Hockey News Sweden. Yeah, we could get him, Carlson, back as early as Saturday. So that'd be nice to have him coming into the lineup against the Lightning. Monday, they continue the road trip against the Panthers, and then Tuesday against the Capitals. I thought it was weird that their back-to-back is against Florida and Washington and not Tampa, Florida. Like, you would think that their back-to-backs would be against the Lightning and Panthers, not the Panthers and Capitals. But, I'm just a guy.
It's just
I don't
the
make
schedule
schedule.
makers
Leagues
showing
are-
us some mercy.
Yeah.
The league's out to get us still.
Yeah. And then after that, they don't play until like Friday, I think, or Saturday against the Sharks.
So the Celebrini Bowl.
Yep. Would be kind of cool to win that one. I like beating the Sharks.
The small moral victories.
You gotta find them somewhere, man.
Be bad, just don't be the worst.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so what are we thinking the Lightning game? Christ.
With how
Lightning are a
tonight
little
went.
different this year, but still they're still pretty dominant when they're on their game.
I'm gonna say
And-
6-2 Lightning.
Holy, all right.
I'm sorry.
I'll one up you and I'll say 6-1.
6-1. Okay.
Is that one upping or is that minus oneing?
Either way.
I'll say I'm gonna say 5-0. I think we get blanked.
I would not
Let's say we
surprise
just yeah. All right. Panthers.
the Frank Petrano revenge game. I'll go 4-2. Frank Petrano has 2 goals. Ducks are losing. Ducks are losing.
So Vetrano gets the only 2 goals.
Petrano has the only 2 goals of the Ducks. I should clarify that.
I'm gonna say 5-1 Panthers.
5-1. Okay. Damn. I'll say 3-1 Panthers. And then Tuesday at the Caps. Last I saw, Ovechkin was day-to-day. I don't know if he's still day-to-day. And I don't even know if it matters anymore. Like, he's just kind of there, sadly.
I say 4-3 Ducks. I say they win that one. They
Regulation.
randomly they'll play well against the Caps like one time a year.
Yeah.
I'll go 3-2 Capitals.
I'm going to say 4-2 Ducks. All right, that's fun. A lot of losses there.
Well, we're gonna keep up all of the fun here. But before we get into that, Noble, we love them. Go check them out. Our flag's there.
These are
Mention the pod, get 10% off your tab or on a beer.
Yep. Ducks will be home 21st or something like that this month. Make sure you go Noble, get your free parking. Because why not?
Okay, back to all of the fun that was had. So on our side of things, we talked a lot about how there was some sadness with Jamie being traded. And on the opposite side, sometimes there's a clear-cut fan base that's like, oh, we won this one, we fleeced you. Or there's sometimes where it's kind of like a good trade and everybody's like, oh, well, it benefits everybody involved. And to me, this felt like one of those trades. But one fan base handled it a little bit better. I mean, the irony that it's the two teams that both wear orange and black. But in Philadelphia, it has been a bit of a mess. Because the situation still is a little murky. But this trade happened because Gauthier told Flyers management that he did not want to be a Flyer. And kind of the timeline of events that we've kind of slowly gotten is there's some mystery event, some mystery thing that had happened that Gauthier felt was a situation he didn't want to be in, and has come out and said that this still is a decision of what he feels is best for him, his family, and everybody involved in his career so far, so including his agent and just, the kid, obviously something happened and he didn't want to be a Flyer. Will we ever know the reason? I don't think we will, especially after everything that has happened. I kind of feel like if that ever gets dug back up, it's just going to make it worse than it's already going to be. Thankfully, we don't play the Flyers the rest of the season, because that would be just a complete disaster.
I feel terrible for him. His first game back in Philly, it's going to be bad.
So to continue on the timeline, he told them that he didn't want to be a Flyer, and it was a while ago, because Danny Briere pretty much confirmed that they had secretly been trying to trade him for a hot minute. And good on, I guess, the other GMs for not leaking anything, because I feel like they wanted to keep this situation as in-house as possible without anything getting out, which certainly didn't happen. He thanked other GMs involved in trade talks, and Pat gets lumped in there as the GM that completed the trade with them, for kind of keeping things under wraps, which certainly is a band-aid on everything that has happened so far, because everything else has just been a complete shit show. So the trade happens, and then just all hell breaks loose, because it comes out that, I don't want to be a Flyer. But after he was drafted, saying he felt like he was the mold of a Flyer and he wanted to be a Flyer. So of course it upsets the Philly fans. And in that, I can kind of see that, being, I wouldn't say it's an okay response from the Philly fans, but I'd be a little ticked off too if someone said, I feel like I fit the mold of what a Flyer should be, and I am happy to be one. And then, not even 2 years after your draft, you're already being traded before playing. Where it's not okay, which I don't really see many people defending, obviously, is being a general nuisance and flooding his Instagram comments with wonderful things like death threats and just overall shitty messages, which I mean, we're in an age where that's going to happen on social media regardless of what you do. It's just amplified by the fact that it's shitty because the kid is making a decision for his future. And it's not like
He's
he owes
19.
them anything.
Yeah,
Is a
he's
19-year-old
19.
kid that wants control of his NHL career. Like, it's not a very out there thing to happen. It's just the circumstances of it are weird.
Yeah.
But then comes the fun of we're all things go to die on the internet is Twitter journalism. It starts coming out that, oh well, if you look at these podcast clips, Kevin Hayes is mentioned and he was meeting with Gauthier and he has to do with this. He's the reason why he's not a Flyer. Which spiraled into Kevin Hayes getting death threats and people making comments about his brother Jimmy, who passed away, and how they were happy he was dead, which you have to be some fucking lunatic to think that's okay. And it's kind of where we're at now. Cutter dispelled the rumor that Kevin Hayes had anything to do with it. But things were kind of put to bed last night, I would say, by Torts, at least for the time being. He confronted the reporter who initially put out the whole rumor about Hayes being involved in this whole situation and just tore his ass up, which say what you will about Torts. The fact that he was willing to go out there and just absolutely rip this guy a new one after, there was some shots taken at him, at Gauthier, I should say, throughout the week by other people in the organization. Like Keith Jones being like, oh, if you don't want to be a Flyer, then you're not going to be a Flyer. And people just being shitheads about it. Like, the one person you expect to be the dick in the situation somehow comes out on top of being the voice of reason. Like, his comment about, oh, I wouldn't know him from a hole in the wall the day of the trade is objectively a funny Torts line, not his best. But it's expected. You're like, okay, that's just Torts being Torts.
Yeah.
But it was nice kind of seeing that quelled a little bit of, why are you putting this bullshit out there? Like, there's real people and there's real consequences.
And it's different. It's different if these people that start these things and it gains any traction or whatever are like kids, like they're younger people. Not saying it makes it okay, but like these are grown men like doing this, like spreading these rumors and like, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying changing someone's life, but maybe. I mean, you're putting their name out there in like a negative way, and you're kind of affecting them and their families, and it's just, you're a grown man. Like, I don't understand that. And this guy, I forgot what Flyers podcast he has, but like, what the hell? And like when Torts called him out, like he's like, was that you that did that? He's like, yeah. Like his response, he was like so proud. Yeah, he was so proud that he put that out into the universe that Kevin Hayes had something to do with it. And it just blew my mind that he was like that was his reaction as a grown ass adult. I don't know. Just, it's kind of embarrassing in my opinion, but we don't have to get too much into him, I guess, because I honestly don't remember his name.
Yeah,
and for better, I mean, giving guys like that attention, I feel, does more harm in the situation because clearly, if you're going to do that and just kind of throw shit out there, to see if it sticks, like, you don't deserve attention. But
yeah,
I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. It's just tiring at this point. But I will say this is the same, well, not really fan base technically because it's the Phillies I'm going to mention, but the same fans that threw batteries at JD Drew for not signing with the Phillies in the late 90s. So it's kind of what you're dealing with.
Yeah, Philly fans are something else, man. Eagles fans kind of scare me. Philly's a whole different breed. They don't lack passion, but there's a line that you shouldn't cross, and Philly seems to cross that line more often than not.
Yeah.
It's a bit crazy.
And like if they boo Drysdale, if they want to boo Gauthier, like that's fine. I don't care if you boo him, but like, because I'd be pissed too. I'm not gonna be pissed too, but like,
there's more productive ways.
Yeah.
And Ducks fans
are really like he
Ducks
could have
fans
that out.
Yeah.
Ducks fans can kind of relate to with this whole thing because of the whole Justin Schultz stuff.
Yeah.
If you were a fan when Justin Schultz kind of did the same thing where he kind of told the Ducks org that he was like excited to be a Duck and he was ready to sign for us, and then when that time came, he kind of like ghosted him. And he ends up going to the Oilers, and he said that he wants to go somewhere where he can win a cup. So then, of course, that made us hate the Oilers even more than we already did. And then we hated Schultz. And every time he came to Honda Center, there were boos. Every time he touched the puck, that lasted for a few seasons. So, I mean, we definitely have been on that side of it. So it's weird to be on the other side now. But so I totally get where they're coming from. But it is still just a game. It's a sport. You don't need to threaten people. You can boo the guy like you're saying, Jack. I mean, simple boos, you can boo him and everything, yell at him, whatever. But there's a line that you don't need to cross. It's still, they're just hockey players. They're people,
You're gonna be 20
I'll just relax.
Like,
yeah.
It's I said earlier, it's kind of this day and age where like people are going to take things too far because you can just say what you want on the internet, not really face any consequences. I mean, it certainly doesn't do Cutter any favors liking Sean Avery's video. Granted, Avery's video, starts off like it's going to be serious, as is most Sean Avery takes. But like throwing in these are the same people that booed Santa Claus is hilarious. But maybe don't like it when all this shit's going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, who fucking cares? You're gonna be a professional athlete that's making, objectively is probably gonna be making millions of dollars at some point. Like,
yeah.
You can just take the approach of just like, yeah, I really don't care what these fucking people think, but
yeah,
overall, just a very weird situation.
It does interest me in what happened though. Just by the way he's saying it, how he's not answering what happened. He's just saying it's just something that's going to be between me, my family, and my agent.
Yeah.
So very weird. There was Elliot Friedman tweeted out. He said, word is Philly didn't want a bonus overage carrying into the season, so they didn't want to sign Gauthier at the end of last year. They certainly didn't intend it as any kind of insult, but things were never the same after that happened.
Yeah, because wouldn't that bonus overage put him over the cap?
Yeah.
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 Like, because the GM took over last year.
Yeah, Briere took over last year.
So he inherited a bad cap situation, and he obviously didn't want to go over the cap. So like I don't necessarily blame Briere, but I mean, I think he did a fair job of the trade. I mean,
yeah,
Drysdale and a second round pick, like,
yeah,
I think he did the best with the situation he was dealt with.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's just weird what Briere was saying too, like how he was kind of getting at like they couldn't get a hold of Gauthier and they wanted to sign him because I thought I read that they wanted to sign him, but then they were also looking to trade him last like draft.
This past
Like,
draft.
this
Because,
past
Yeah.
draft.
because I mean, it's been almost a year now that
Yeah.
CA told him like I don't want to be a flyer.
Yeah, and it's weird that it's lasted that long, and then they come out and say that them not getting a hold of him at the World Juniors was the last straw. But if you were trying to trade him at last draft,
Well,
I don't know.
How I interpret the situation, I think I don't remember where the quote was from, just because there's been so many all around. Was the fact that I think it was the last straw, and the fact that they wanted to get a hold of him at World Juniors this year to make sure, like, to do due diligence. Holy shit. To do due diligence. God damn. Okay, I'm not even gonna say that anymore. They wanted or attempt to. I can't speak right now. They wanted to get a hold of him one last time to be like, hey, has anything changed your mind? We still want you to be a flyer. Like, if it really comes down to it, we can trade you.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird that the timelines don't fit. But again, I think the less we know, the better off everybody is.
I think so, yeah.
Like I feel for Briere. It is kind of funny though. Greg Wyshynski posted a kind of like a little conspiracy theory, which goes against everything we've just said. Of hey, maybe don't be a dickhead and speculate.
Yeah. Right.
But he pretty much had said that there is an interesting little wrinkle in the situation when you think about the fact that Bob Murray is an advisor in Philadelphia right now.
Oh yeah.
And Pat has certainly shown kind of a knack for, this is not my guy, this is not my pick, this is someone I inherited. I don't have any loyalty tied up into this.
Yeah.
And for a situation like this to work out where both sides have something that the other wants, and someone who drafted Jamie Drysdale is in the other organization now, and he was kind of tying both together. But then the wrinkle was, oh well, maybe he didn't like Chuck Fletcher, which if it comes down to just that, then it's kind of funny because I feel like Flyers fans will at least kind of sympathize a little bit, since they all hated Chuck Fletcher too. But I don't know, weird shit. I feel like we get one of these hockey Twitter situations every year where something like this happens. It gets blown way out of proportion just because that's how the internet works in this day and age. And then we sit here and talk about it because you almost have to sit back and like, how did this happen? Why can't you people be normal?
Right? Jesus. I guess my thing with this whole trade that kind of bothered me was that somehow this trade happens and everyone thinks that another trade or two other trades are coming because of this trade happening.
You wouldn't be talking about Trevor Zegras being on the trade block, would you?
I just don't understand how Jamie getting traded automatically means someone else like that. So that guy is being traded next. It makes no sense. Like we've talked about it. Pat Verbeek has even come out and said it. This just came out of nowhere. A player like Gauthier was just available. We have a ton of defensemen. It just worked in our favor. It worked out perfectly. He got something that landed right at his feet, so he took a swing at it.
And
that's it.
He knocked it out of the park, too.
And he got it.
Let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah, I mean, if Cutter Gauthier was fine with where he was and everything worked out and he was going to sign with the Flyers, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe he would have traded Drysdale anyway down the line. I don't think it would have been right now, but a prospect was made available and he couldn't refuse. So it was just perfect timing. And it worked out.
That doesn't get clicks.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
That's the problem.
That was the meme I have saved of the little duck with the fingers going, "Is for me."
Well, when they're talking about Verbeek wanting, Gauthier all along, trying to trade up for him for the draft and all that stuff, like,
Yeah.
I just picture Pat sending him texts at 2 a.m. like, "You up?"
You up?
Danny, wake up! I know you're up. I see your Discord online.
Yeah,
Hop on
exactly.
Rocket League. Let's talk this out. Oh, I'm tired.
A lot, man. This was a lot of Ducks stuff, and
Just
a
mentally
lot of it just
taxing.
yeah, and like a lot of the drama was just the Ducks being there. It wasn't like Ducks drama.
Yeah.
We were just part of it. We were kind of dragged into to a weird situation, but
Yeah.
what can you do, man? I don't know. It was a long week. Hopefully we get some Ducks wins out of this. I don't know. Didn't start off great, but
The only way to go is up. Maybe.
yeah. Yeah.
From what I've
Uh,
learned, never
like-
say how could it get worse, because it will always get worse.
I was gonna tweet something today about how like this is just like common for me because I feel like we're kind of going through the motions of like the Angel season, where
Mhm.
it's like this is the time of year where Trout and Rendon get their yearly injuries, and then it's like Renjifo's pitching for some reason because he's the utility guy that plays every position, and we're just kind of like, yeah, sure, why not?
I saw.
Yeah,
I think it was Garrett on Twitter. Shout out Garrett.
The Garrett.
Narrative.
The Garrett. I'm pretty sure it was him. When the Drysdale trade happened, he said, "We gave up Anthony Rendon light for Cutter Gauthier. I'm all in," or something like that.
God, that makes me sad that you just compare the Ducks to the Angels. Just because, like, I don't understand it 100%, but I since I follow, I have a lot
All
of
of us.
friends. Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are Ducks fans, and they just happen to be Angels fans, and I see how miserable you guys
See the pain in our eyes.
It's
Yeah.
awful. It's so
And to-
awful.
to get my hockey team compared to that. I'm like, damn, are we really that bad? Is it really that bad right now?
Injury wise, this year, yeah.
Yeah.
But the difference is this seems to happen on like a 2 to 3 year like cycle with the Ducks, where it's like every couple years. Where the Angels, it's just like, okay, who's going first, and then who are the 5 that are gonna join him? Well, just because of how long we had and how much Duck stuff we had, we're not gonna do any NHL news this week, except for one thing. I am pulling a fast one on you, Chris. Corey
Okay.
Perry is eligible to come back to the NHL when he pleases.
is.
So
Yes.
it's cool to see. I will say props to Perry. Gary Bettman said that there was nothing barring him.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
he
so
was
he really
pretty
didn't
much
need to
ready to
be-
come back whenever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he kind of did his due diligence, and it just shows that he's grateful to still play in this league.
Yeah.
Which
I do like that he went to Bettman. Bettman didn't need him to go there.
exactly.
Yep.
Perry wanted to meet with Bettman, so that's nice to hear. I'm still I'm really hesitant on all of it just because we don't know the full details, and we might
Yeah.
never know. I don't know, but I
To
don't know.
me,
Like,
it eases a little bit of that kind of stress of like, what did he do? Is this something that people are gonna hate him for a valid reason now?
mhm.
But to me, it kind of is like, okay, like if the NHL didn't deem it as much of an issue and he kind of took the initiative to get the help that he needed, it kind of puts my mind at ease a little. But then again, we are talking about the NHL, and
Yeah.
they don't exactly have the cleanest track record. So I
Yeah.
definitely share a little bit of that hesitation.
Mhm.
But if you're gonna trade some people, Pat, there's gonna be spots open.
We're losing a lot of
Jesus.
guys. We just need warm bodies. Damn it.
I know. I can't wait till we hit like a week where we lose like 2 or 3 more guys to injury, and Pat's like, "I have to do it."
It's gonna be like the meme from the Muppets Christmas movie. The little outline. Or I don't think it's the Christmas movie, but it was one of the Muppet movies where it's like Kermit's little shadow in the light.
Oh, the evil Kermit.
No, it's like they're like looking at like this bright light, and it's just like Kermit
Oh,
walking
yes.
through the light.
Yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
If Perry returns, do they have him come down in the like through the rafters?
In the Wild
Like
Wing
Wild
suit.
Wing.
Not even Wild Wing suit, like
He gets
full
set
gear,
on fire.
full gear coming down the rafters, like for the starting lineup.
Chris, I don't think you've seen the budget at Honda Center. I don't know if they got money to be putting players up on the zip line.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe
That
not.
might be
may-
an insurance liability.
Or maybe like they're announcing the starting lineups and they get 4 done. And for the 5th one, like lights go out, glass shatters, Cold Stone Steve Austin's music starts playing.
Right.
Here
Well,
comes Corey Perry with the steel chair.
Oh my god.
oh, we can get into questions now. I guess
Oh, do you want to do ad reads really quick?
we'll do them at the end.
Okay.
We'll get through the questions. We'll end with our reads,
Sounds good.
or we can just say our codes at the end and we'll be good.
Okay.
Cover our bases. Starting with Hockey 365 topic as always, is the Gauthier Drysdale trade the biggest caught you off guard trade in the history of you being a fan?
Oof.
I would say the only other one, staying on topic with what we were just talking about, when Perry was bought out, I would say that caught me the most off guard because it was just like we were
that
waiting
was
for
pretty
it,
shocking. Yeah.
but then it happened, and you're like, "Fuck, he actually did it."
Oh, he did it. Yeah. Perry's a good one to buy out. This one was pretty. I can't really remember the last time I had to like look at something that long and make sure like I wasn't being bamboozled. So definitely could be the Drysdale one so far.
I feel like since I've been a fan, I've been around for just like selling guys off, not
Mhm.
really like any of like the big trades.
Yeah, you weren't around for the Ryan Kessler trade.
Oh, that Kessler trade was nice. That made me so happy.
I think the most caught off guard trade or just movement in general was the Bobby Ryan trade for me. I loved Bobby
was
Ryan.
thinking that one.
So that one really caught me off guard.
I was thinking that one, but then at the same time, I remember kind of anticipating it just because Perry and Getzlaf signed that long,
Yeah.
almost like identical contracts.
Yeah, the 8 by like what, 8.5? Something
like that. Yeah. So it kind of made Bobby Ryan the odd man out. So you're kind of waiting for it. It was still shocking when it happened because you didn't know when it was going to happen and if it was really going to happen. But yeah,
I was
I think
12,
right.
so
You were
I
12?
I was 12, so I wasn't like aware enough of like they signed the contract, so he's got to go.
We got a mouse sighting in the chat, and he said Quick being traded while I was watching Lap and having Connor break the
Oh my
news live to
God.
me because I went through an existential crisis.
I totally forgot that we actually had that happen.
We
live.
stayed on
That was-
for that. Remember? It
Yeah.
like happened and we're
Mhm.
like, oh shit, we gotta stay on for the details.
Yeah, that was nuts. That was fun though. I'd say right now, yeah, Drysdale that I can think of just because it's fresh. I can't really think of any because like Jake said, like it's been a while since they've like it's always been just
The
shitting
Ducks
off
just
guys
don't make
for
and plus the Ducks don't make big moves,
they don't,
historically.
yeah. Because
especially
I
in the
even
Bob
thought,
Murray era.
yeah, I even thought of Freddie Anderson, but even then, that one was kind of anticipated because of Gibson. We knew that they
Yeah.
had to choose one or the other
Mm-hmm.
moving forward, and they went with Gibson. So that one, I mean, it hurt because I still love Freddie Anderson.
But it brought
that one-
he who shall not be named.
Yeah, I guess I'd say Drysdale. That one kind of, I think I stopped breathing for a second. Had to remind myself to breathe because it was shocking. So we'll go with Drysdale.
Poor Ryan. He said I was having a breakdown and hearing, ooh, let's stay for like 10 more minutes. That was my canon event. Okay,
Poor mouse.
our next one comes from random SF8 on Twitter. They ask, how do you see the lines when Gautier debuts? And for fun, which player would you want to spend a day with? As for
with
lines,
Gautier.
I already said McTavish and Killorn as line mates would make a perfect shutdown line, and we've been missing that since the Cogslerberg line.
Oxfordberg.
Oxleberg.
That just doesn't. That doesn't sound like you're allowed to say it. Like that sounds like a medical term.
It kind of does.
Or like a Harry Potter spell.
Yeah.
Sorry, my oven is going off in the background. I'll mute myself while you guys answer.
Yeah, that'd be a good line. Second line, McTavish, Killorn, sure. I like that. And then Carlson, Terry, Zegras. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to even think about lines.
Just kind of easy for me right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
well,
when the trade happened, I wrote down like the
okay.
lines I would have.
Like, okay, top six, sure, but like after that, I can't tell you just because it's gonna change.
In before the Carrick, Leeson, Gauthier line, the end of the season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And what about Johnston? Is he getting the Derek Grant treatment, you think?
What type of Derek Grant treatment are we talking?
Yeah, I was gonna say we've had three different ones.
we have, yeah, that's true. We did have three different
we
Grant
had
movements.
Can't leave the lineup glued to the score sheet or glued to the lineup card.
Yeah.
We had Ascension to number 1C for 2 weeks, and then we had he's still here?
Yeah.
Maybe the Derek Grant leash. Is that putting it better? Just because I feel like he's in the lineup all the time. He wasn't tonight, but I don't know. I just don't see the reasoning behind him being in the lineup. No offense to this guy. He might be a great guy. I don't know him personally. Let's remember that.
Yeah, he's in the lineup more than I would like. And
yeah,
even when he's in the lineup, he plays like what, 8 minutes, if that.
Maybe
So like, he's hard.
Yeah.
Like there's some nights he's logging in more penalty minutes than time on ice.
Yeah. And I know he's on the fourth line, so it shouldn't matter that much. But why do you need to have a fourth line that just doesn't do anything? Like, what's the point?
And especially when Leeson's the healthy scratch, like that just blows my mind.
I mean, when you have certain people that can maybe inject some life into that fourth line, why not put him in there? Like, why do you need a fourth line that literally goes out there, punches someone in the mouth, and then leaves? Like, like, we don't need that, especially when a team needs scoring like the Ducks do. Like, there's just no point. But that's for another day. Kind of got off track there with this.
I thought Dallas Eakins was gone.
I know. Goddamn.
So our next one comes from our pal Patrick. He said, can Lap start a rumor about a GM, in quotes, mentioning a young star in conversations, end quote, so we can write clickbait articles and everyone can assume that player is on the trade block and up for grabs? Thanks.
So do we want to put out a name and we're going to make him write about it? Is he gonna write it?
I heard Connor Bedard loves the beach. That's just what my sources are telling me.
Yeah.
I told him in the group chat, if we were doing this pod in 2017, half of the Nashville Predators roster would have been on their way to like the KHL.
Yeah. I'm hearing Zach Benson. I just got a text right now. Zach Benson apparently wants out of Buffalo. Absolutely insane. I can't reveal my source. Just got a text message. In all caps, by the way. All caps. Wow. Zach Benson wants out of Buffalo.
I also heard that when McDavid hits the free agency market, he's willing to take a pay cut to play for a real contending team like Anaheim.
He's
heard it
taking
here
his
first.
talents to Newport Beach.
At a discount rate because he's a team guy.
So our next one, we have this one, and then our squeak of the week, as always.
Wait,
Milo.
we never answered the second half of that question, did we? Who we want to spend the day with? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
at
we'll
this
answer
point,
quick.
I would say Zegras, because after saying that him and Jamie used to pee together, it seems like they were up to something, having a little
Yeah.
too much fun. So you got to see what that's all about, I guess.
Yeah. Just want to dabble, see what that's about. Day in the life.
Do you think they cross streams?
I'd be disappointed at this point if they didn't.
Yeah.
Dapped up together in the bathroom, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Zegras. McTavish seems like he's just a chill guy.
I want to play a round of golf with Vetrano.
Vetrano, yeah.
The
So I heard he's-
Springfield rifle.
Yeah, the Springfield rifle. I've just from seeing like the videos that they post on social media, was like, who's the funniest guy on the team? It's always Vetrano.
Always Vetrano, yeah.
And he's always barking on the ice.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the chirps when you're on the golf course.
Yeah, right. Leo Carlson too. I'd say Leo Carlson would be fun. Fun guy to hang with.
I feel like Leo Carlson would just be too wholesome.
Probably.
Like I need someone with some bite in him.
Yeah.
All right. So our next one comes from Barry. I'm assuming when he says PK, he means Paul Correa.
Yeah.
At least that's where my mind goes. But he could be talking about the penalty kill. But he says, "Who's our PK of the future?"
Yeah, it's got to be Paul Correa. The Paul Correa of the future.
Leo Carlson.
Yeah, that's where my mind goes.
Leo. Yeah, could probably say Leo. I'm hoping it's Zegras just by like size, and skill. Because
Yeah.
Leo Carlson, my first thought is like Ryan Getzlaf, which a lot of people say already. So it's not like
Yeah.
I'm the only one that thinks that or anything. But when it comes to Paul Correa, like what I remember from him, just like he wasn't a big guy, smaller dude, quick, great playmaker, great shot. Like that just reminds me of like Zegras, what we have right now, kind of put the Ducks on the map, and Zegras has kind of done that over the last couple of seasons, kind of gave people a reason to talk about this team in their rebuilding years. So I'd say Zegras.
Just from a comparison wise, yeah, I would say Zegras, but like just trying to think of like long-term production, I think Carlson would probably be a safer bet to like what the numbers are going to look like comparing to Paul Correa.
Okay.
But the size and everything makes perfect sense for Zegras.
Mm-hmm. Leo.
To be a small boy.
Short Kings rise.
I mean, apparently he's getting traded because he's too small.
Allegedly.
So we end this week with our squeak of the week, as always. And Ryan is in the chat for this one, so makes it even better. So he said, "Hobble wobble bobble, my red solo cup. I fill you up. Fuck Gabe Bellardi."
Jesus.
I have spilled paint, which made me think of paint and painting with paint. What was the podcast's most cringeworthy, clumsy moment?
The podcasts.
I mean, something we've done specifically as a pod. I mean, I feel like it can be a number of things. Because we certainly have had our few shares or few instances of just like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Clumsy moment on the pod, I would have to say, and I think Lou would agree, is when he called Dallas Aikens. What did he call Dallas Aikens?
He called him a bitch.
That's right. That was
But to
clumsy.
lose credit, that was the hello episode.
I was gonna say, wasn't that Vegas?
That was
Coming
Lou
live
Vegas.
from his hotel room.
Yeah, that was
Viva
Lou
Lou
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, a little clumsy, but yeah.
I mean, personally, I've had I've had a lot. I'm a very clumsy person. I drop a lot of stuff. Especially at work. I feel like working around like sharp blades just puts me in more danger. I've cut my thumb a lot recently. If we're talking on ice perspective, I do have one that's funny. I got yelled at by a ref one time, given a penalty. At the end of a game, we lost a championship game, and I was kind of pissed that we were losing because it was a bad game. And I kind of like put my stick in front of my pad and like kicked the puck up when the ref was coming to grab the puck.
Oh,
And it's like 30 seconds left in the game. We're losing by like 4 or something like that. And I was using my backup stick because didn't want to break my other one.
mhm.
And I kind of launched the puck into the netting, and I got a delay game penalty at the end of the game. So like the stat read like 2020 penalty. I think he gave me an unsportsmanlike too. I think I got 2 penalties on that, but I got a delay a game and an unsportsmanlike. I thought.
Nice.
And he told me
Someone
not to
might
do
have
that
it
shit
again.
again.
When I was 9, before one of my Little League games, I tripped over my bat bag and broke my wrist and missed the rest of the season.
Oh my
That's
God.
my clumsiest moment.
Ah. I broke my wrist playing two-hand touch football.
Nice.
That was more embarrassing than clumsy because it wasn't my fault. Like I dove for a pass, didn't catch it, and then some dude fell on me. Like he tripped over my legs and like landed on my arm and like pushed my wrist into the ground, broke my wrist. So it really wasn't on me. I wasn't the clumsy one in that situation, but it was kind of embarrassing to break a bone playing two-hand touch football.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
I had a friend growing up. His sister used to fall out of trees randomly, and she slipped on a ball once and had to be airlifted. So
Airlifted? Yeah,
Nice.
my girlfriend's broken her foot jumping out of a treehouse once, and she was in high school. Right. Yeah. Not that she needed to catch a stray there, but
I know. I was like, hopefully she's all right with you saying that right now.
This is the pot of catching strays.
Trust me,
neither
safe. Her or her friends are watching this, so
okay.
Ryan did say this. It gave Chris the strength to wield double hockey sticks. Hit him up, Ducks. You need forwards. He can play with 2 sticks.
Honestly, you have the picture. I don't have video form of that, but the picture's there, and they always say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So
you were on Nasher's channel. That's all that matters.
Go bro hockey.
Well, before we get out of here, as always, we appreciate you guys listening. If you've hung out with us on Twitch tonight, thank you. Before we go, Ryan said worst was tearing my baseball pants open after going full scorpion on a slide, having it being very apparent.
Sorry, we did have a question from Nat on Instagram. She said, describe everything that's happened in the Ducks verse this week in 3 words, really quick.
What the fuck?
That's honestly, yeah. That kind of, I mean, that works. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I was trying to actually think of like 3 words. I'm like, what can I say? And then, yeah, that kind of just sums it all up. Just with everything.
Yeah, nice and easy.
Nice and easy.
Covers all the bases.
Yeah.
As always, you can find us at Late Arrivals Pod on everything. This being recorded on Thursday will go out on Friday. As always, you can also get tickets to any sporting event from 714 Tickets using code LAP. 10% off checkout and 5% towards any orders you do in the future. And then Shift Hockey. Lou is not here to talk to you people about his love of cream, but Lap 10 checkout gets you 10% off anything without any existing deals. But they have sticks, apparel. If you're looking to get into hockey, I know all the adult programs are starting to kick back up at the rinks around here. So if you are starting hockey, get yourself some gloves, some affordable gloves, and some affordable sticks.
Yep, works out.
Get your
Hopefully, we're
cream.
back next week with better news to talk about and not any more controversy. But
Hopefully, some positive stuff. But yeah, subscribe everywhere you can to the Late Arrivals podcast.
and my microwave in the background is now going off.
Hell yeah.
Good place to end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave a
Oh.
rating and review, 5 stars. We'll see you next week.
If we don't get a 5-star, my microwave will be present for the whole episode next week.
Jesus Christ. All right. See ya.
See y'all next week.
Later.